While I was handing out flyers, I saw my girlfriend, Emily, in a sports car with the school hunk, passionately kissing him. When I knocked on the window, the school hunk asked her, "Who's this?" Leaning against him, Emily said, "Just a loser. If you don't like it, I'll break up with him right away." After kissing the school hunk, she didn't even look at me and turned away. The school hunk licked his lips where my girlfriend had kissed and mocked, "Leave. Beauties only belong to the strong." I said, "I don't care about my girlfriend, but why are you in my car?" The atmosphere turned awkward. The school hunk gripped the steering wheel, staring at me in disbelief. "What do you mean, your car?" "This is my car," he said. I opened the glove compartment and took out the registration. "Look, it has my name on it. Why are you in my car? Are you stealing it? I'll call the police right now." The school hunk turned red and hurriedly got out of the car. He whispered to me, "Don't call the police. My dad's a mechanic. I saw this car looked nice and borrowed it for a spin. Please don't call the police." I rolled my eyes and said loudly, "You call this borrowing? This is theft. Can a repair shop just steal cars for a joyride?" The school hunk lowered his head and whispered, "Bro, I'm sorry." I sighed. "Don't get chummy with me. Let me check the car's condition first." He didn't dare say a word. Soon, I found a dent on the hood. I said angrily, "What's this about?" The school hunk panicked and quickly said, "It's not my fault. Your girl insisted on sitting on the hood to take selfies and posted a bunch of provocative photos on her moments. That's the evidence." I checked my phone and saw nothing. The school hunk quickly showed me his phone. It turned out Emily had blocked me. Looking at her WeChat moments, I saw those bold photos. "Fine, you can go. I'll keep these photos as evidence. You both prepare for a court summons." The school hunk was stunned and whispered, "Bro, will it cost a lot?" I said, "About 100,000. Instantly, his face turned pale. The school hunk stammered, "But it was her who damaged it. Do I have to pay too?" I rolled my eyes. "Don't you understand the law? You're both responsible. Your dad's worked for years for nothing." The proud school hunk burst into tears. "That stupid girl. I told her this is carbon fiber, only found in high-end sports cars. The harder it gets hit, the more it dents. But she couldn't wait for the car to warm up and just sat on it for selfies. My parents worked so hard, and now we're screwed because of her." Impatiently, I got into my car and called someone to assess the damage. I wasn't interested in watching him cry. The school hunk wiped his tears and wailed, "How come you're the rich one? Your girlfriend said you work multiple jobs handing out flyers." I said, "I don't work. I hand out flyers, but those stores are mine. I'm not lying. Half of the pedestrian street, 72 stores, my family owns them. Handing out flyers for my family's stores, what's wrong with that?" I closed the car window, not wanting to hear the school hunks crying. At this moment, Emily texted me, "Since you saw it, let's break up. Don't blame me. Blame your parents for being losers. I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than laugh on your bicycle while handing out flyers." I fell into deep thought. Since both the Lamborghini and the bicycle are mine, should she cry or laugh? I wanted to reply, wait for the court summons, but Emily had already blocked me. My God, how could she block me? Speaking of the repair costs, she owed me 100,000. Ignoring the fact that it was the girls' dormitory, I rushed into the dormitory and headed straight for Emily's room. Fortunately, it was morning, so there weren't many people in the dorm. I arrived at her dorm room door and was about to knock when I heard a woman inside ask, "Did you really do what I told you?" Then I heard Emily say, "Yes, I lied to him that I took the pill." The woman excitedly said, "That's a great opportunity. I calculated your period and knew you were likely to get pregnant these 2 days, which is why I told you to go on a date. Once you're pregnant, you can marry into a wealthy family." Emily said worriedly, "What if he makes me get an abortion?" The woman replied, As long as you're pregnant, I have ways to make him acknowledge the baby. You even broke up with your boyfriend for him. Let's see if he dares not to acknowledge it. I was really shocked that Emily would go this far. She even wanted to marry the campus heartthrob by having his child. I wondered what her expression would be when she found out the heartthrob had stolen my car. I knocked on Emily's door. When she saw me, she immediately frowned. She said, "I've already broken up with you. Why are you still pestering me? I'm telling you, being poor is not a problem, but being poor and shamelessly pestering a girl is really disgusting." It seemed Emily misunderstood, thinking I was there to win her back. There were two other people in the dorm, her roommates, whom I knew before. Before I could speak, one of her roommates said, "Can you stop hindering Emily from pursuing her own happiness?" I was completely dumbfounded. So making out with another guy in a sports car behind her boyfriend's back was considered pursuing her own happiness? I knew this roommate. She was Emily's best friend, Eva, the one who had just urged Emily to get pregnant. When I first started dating Emily, she often made sarcastic remarks, saying things like a man's love for a girl depends on how much money he spends on her. Because of Eva's instigation, I had given Emily many gifts. Now I was here to get those gifts back. I said, "We can break up, but the phone you're using is mine. You should return it to me." I didn't mention that the sports car was mine because, knowing Emily's personality, she might shamelessly cling to me. I had to get my things back first. Emily immediately frowned and said coldly, "So you're such a petty person. Can't you consider my feelings?" I was speechless. "It's not that I'm petty, but you've already wronged me. Why should I care about your feelings?" Eva suddenly covered her mouth and laughed. She said, "Can't you see through this poor man's trick? Asking you to return the gift as a pretense. He really wants to make things difficult for you because he can't bear the breakup." Emily sneered. "So that's it. You think if I can't bear to return the gift, I won't break up with you, right? Have you forgotten my current man is very rich?" She raised her head proudly, and Eva added fuel to the fire. "Don't be afraid, sis. I just checked. The heartthrob's Lamborghini costs millions. Buying you a new phone is nothing to him." Emily laughed and said, "I can return the phone, but let me make one last call. I'll show you why I broke up with you. Because the gap between you and a rich man is so wide that you'll never bridge it in your lifetime." I wondered if the rich man she was talking about was the heartthrob. I remembered when I sent the car to the heartthrob's house for maintenance. His dad sighed and said making money was tough these days, and what they earned wasn't enough to pay the rent. Emily made a call, and Eva quickly said, "Put it on speaker so he can hear. Let him know the gap between himself and others." Emily nodded and, seemingly to show off, put the call on speaker. As soon as the call connected, she said pitifully, "Brother, my boyfriend came to break up with me and wants me to return the phone he bought me. Without the phone, how can I contact you in the future?" However, the heartthrob didn't indulge her. On the other end of the line, the heartthrob yelled angrily, "You damned bitch. Don't let me see you again, or I'll beat you every time I see you." In an instant, both Emily and Eva were stunned. The call was abruptly cut off, and Emily stared at her phone, unable to say a word. Eva quickly reacted. She angrily grabbed a book from her bed and threw it at me, shouting, "Did you bad mouth my best friend downstairs?" When Emily heard this, she was furious and started shaking. "Yeah, he wasn't treating me like this before. You must have slandered me. How despicable and disgusting can you be?" I impatiently said, "I didn't bad-mouth him. Just give me back my things." "If you didn't bad-mouth me, why would he suddenly treat me like this?" I was speechless because Emily had posted coquettish selfies sitting on the hood of his car. The heartthrob had ended up with thousands in debt. Given his family's income, how could he not be angry? Eva sneered. That's why I told you to be brave and date the heartthrob. I already saw through this poor loser. He only knows how to play tricks behind your back. Disgusting, I asked. So you're saying you were involved in her betrayal of me, right? Eva snapped. Betrayal? My best friend was in a mess. Of course, I had to pull her out. Should I have let her sink into marrying you? She'll thank me for the rest of her life. Emily grew impatient and said coldly, You can have the phone back, but I have one condition. You immediately apologize to the heartthrob and admit that you were lying about me. Eva cursed. Yeah, even if you have to kneel and apologize, clear my best friend's name. I took the phone and retorted, Why should I apologize for something I didn't do? And we haven't settled our accounts yet. I walked straight into the room and sat at the desk to start calculating. Throughout our relationship, I had given Emily many gifts and transfers, and I wanted them all back. Emily said disappointedly, My friends are all here. We once loved each other. Do you really want to embarrass me like this? I ignored her and continued calculating. Eva suddenly took a photo of me with a look of disdain. She said, Today I encountered the ultimate loser. I'm going to post this on my social media right now and expose you, so you'll be socially dead. I thought she was just threatening me, but when I took out my phone to check, I found she had actually posted it. She posted my photo with the caption, OMG, girls, never date a poor guy. The poorer they are, the more trouble they cause. My best friend got stuck with one. It's terrifying. I frowned and said, This is a personal matter between us. Why do you keep bringing up being poor? You might as well write gold digger on your face. Eva sneered. Yeah, I do like rich guys. Do you have the right to be jealous? If you were rich, you'd be the one scolding me now, not the other way around. Look at your pathetic self. Eva got more and more agitated, walking to the window and pointing downstairs. She said, Rich men drive $1,000,000 Lamborghinis and are full of ambition and career goals. Poor losers just sit here calculating, making the girls who once loved them feel sick. Another roommate finally couldn't help but speak up. Emily, why don't you just pay him back? This is your fault in the first place. In an instant, Emily's expression changed. Emily asked, What do you mean? Are you taking his side? Eva sneered. Isn't it obvious? You found a boyfriend with a Lamborghini, and she's jealous. So she purposely insults you, slanders you. The roommate's face turned red with anger. Don't falsely accuse me. I knew this girl. She was a poor student named Lisa. Before, when Emily wanted to show off, she had me buy desserts for everyone in her dorm. But Lisa refused to take them, saying she couldn't accept something she didn't earn. Because of that, I had a deep impression of her. Emily sighed and said, Lisa, I know you're poor and rely on student loans and scholarships to study. I understand if you resent the rich, but you know what? Being a good person is more important than good grades, Lisa. I widened my eyes in disbelief. Are you saying I'm not a good person? I was completely dumbfounded. Lisa was diligent and hard, working, excelling in both character and academics. And Emily, she had just been making out with the rich guy in a car right in front of me, her boyfriend. She dared to say Lisa didn't know how to behave. What kind of nonsense was she spouting? Eva sneered. I know your type, poor simple girl. You know he broke up, so you're pretending to be a pretentious coquette to win his favor. You know you have no chance with a guy who drives a Lamborghini, so you don't even let a guy who earns $3,000 a month handing out flyers pass. Lisa was so angry she clenched her fists and stood up. I also worked part-time as a tutor, and I earned $2,000 a month. Eva looked at her with disdain. To you, mosquito legs are meat. Yesterday, I saw you picking up food that fell on the table to eat. You're such a wretch. Of course, you're not picky about men. Lisa's eyes reddened immediately, her voice trembling with grievance. The food fell on the table, not the floor. What's so poor about that? Enough! Emily's shout interrupted us. She slammed her phone on the table and said to me, "You really embarrassed me. My biggest regret is dating you. Hurry up and settle our accounts so I can go explain to my new boyfriend." Eva quickly said, "Don't be afraid, sis. I'll go with you to explain. The rumors will be quashed, and you'll still be the little darling of a rich man." I couldn't be bothered with these two anymore and focused on calculating our accounts. Of course, I didn't include the repair costs of the sports car. I was afraid Emily might shamelessly try to reconcile with me. In the end, I figured it out. In the year we dated, I had given Emily gifts and transfers totaling $18,000. After doing the math, I was stunned. Dating really costs a lot of money. I only spent a few hundred a month on living expenses. I didn't realize it until I calculated it. Not only was I shocked, but Emily and Eva were also a bit stunned. After all, they were students. Where would they get over 10,000? At first, they didn't believe it, but after checking several times, they finally confirmed my calculations were correct. Emily looked a bit troubled. 18,000? I can't come up with that right now. Eva panicked and quickly said, "Don't be scared, sis. I'll help you pay it back. Your attitude towards this loser now will determine how the heartthrob sees you. Even if we have to borrow from loan sharks, we'll pay the money back. You need to cut ties with this poor guy to have a chance to marry into a wealthy family." Emily was eventually swayed by Eva's words. She nodded and said, "Okay, we'll find a way to borrow it. My family mustn't know, or my parents will kill me." I didn't know what to say. If 18,000 would get her killed, what would happen when the nearly 100,000 repair bill for the sports car got sent to her house? Her parents would probably want to grind her bones to dust. Emily and Eva immediately started contacting people to borrow money. Surprisingly, it was quite easy for them to borrow money. Classmates each gave a few hundred, lending it to Emily. Even Emily was amazed at how easily she could get the money. She couldn't help but say, "I have a good reputation. Everyone is willing to lend me money." I even laughed. "It's because of yourself on social media. You're sitting in a sports car worth millions. Of course, people are willing to lend you the small amount of money." Emily suddenly realized. She glanced at me and said, "Do you see that? That's the true charm of a real man, making one admire him and lend me money, hoping to befriend him. If I were with you, would anyone reach out to help me when I'm in trouble?" Eva sneered. "Trouble? Being with him is already the biggest disaster in life." They kept borrowing money and finally managed to collect over 8,000, but there was still a 10,000 gap. Eva gritted her teeth and said, "I know a guy from the underworld. He can lend me the money, but if we can't pay it back, it'll be terrible." Emily asked worriedly, "What happens if we can't pay it back?" Eva replied, "Don't worry about that for now. Your new boyfriend is so rich. 10,000 is nothing to him." Eva quickly contacted the so-called underworld person, who appeared to be a professional private lender. He handed over 10,000 without hesitation. After they managed to gather enough money and returned it to me, Emily threw the phone at me angrily and said, "Satisfied? Now get lost. From now on, we should have nothing to do with each other." I nodded and then turned to Lisa, saying, "Can you come out with me for a moment?" Lisa looked at me in surprise, seemingly not understanding why I was calling her. Eva immediately sneered. I knew these two had something going on. As soon as you paid him back, they hooked up. I felt a wave of helplessness. The reason I wanted to talk to Lisa was that she worked in the student council and had the contact directory. Since I planned to send a court summons to Emily's family, I definitely needed her home address. Lisa blushed deeply, lowered her head, and followed me out. Eva mocked again. "You really are following him out. You only deserve Emily's leftovers." Lisa was almost in tears. "I don't have any such intentions." Eva cursed. Pretentious coquette. Keep acting. No wonder your family is so poor. It's genetic. Look at you, trying to please even a guy who hands out flyers. You're so undiscriminating. It's clear what kind of people your parents are. Emily looked at us with disdain and sneered. Good thing I broke up with him. This useless man is all yours. Let me give you a word of advice. A whore in the doghouse, they last forever. I led Lisa out of the dormitory and into the hallway. Lisa whispered, I only spoke up because I was angry. Don't read too much into it. I just want to study hard. I don't have the intentions they said. I nodded. I know. You have to get scholarships and work as a tutor. You don't have time for romance. Lisa asked curiously, Then why did you ask me to come out? I said, I know you have the contact directory. Can you give me Emily's home address? Lisa immediately panicked. What do you plan to do? Don't do anything reckless. She seemed very worried and even grabbed my hand in her anxiety. Lisa looked into my eyes and said seriously, We may be poor, but we have dignity. Others are at fault, but don't ruin your future because of their mistakes. The atmosphere grew silent, and I didn't know how to respond. Did this girl think I was planning to go after Emily's family? Lisa then realized she had grabbed my hand in her haste. She quickly let go, blushing. You're hard, working, and determined. You deserve a better life. I believe that in 10 years, Emily will regret her choices. I said, It won't take 10 years. I've already had the dealership assess the damage. If her family lives in the city, she'll regret it soon. Lisa was stunned and asked what I meant. I said, The sports car downstairs was mine. She stared at me dumbfounded. I explained everything to Lisa. She was speechless again. It wasn't until I showed her the car registration that she believed it was true. When Lisa went to get the contact directory, she walked as if in a daze, probably thinking she was dreaming. Soon, she sent me Emily's home address. Surprisingly, it was just a few kilometers from the dealership. What a coincidence, right? I called the dealership, and they told me they delivered the damage assessment within 10 minutes. Wait, I suddenly remembered Emily had given me back her phone. How would I contact her for debt collection later? I decided to temporarily return the phone to her. I went back to Emily's dormitory. When she saw me return, she asked irritably, Why are you back? I said, I know you don't have a phone. You can borrow this for a couple of days. Eva immediately clutched her chest, pretending to retch. I'm going to puke. I was right. This simp is doing it on purpose, trying to play this on, again off, again game with you. Emily snapped. Do you really take me for a fool? Can you stop pestering me? You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. Just then, Eva's phone rang. Eva took out her phone and said puzzled, Emily, why are your parents calling me? I was taken aback. The dealership works fast. It seemed Emily's parents couldn't reach her, so they contacted Eva. Emily took the phone and asked, Mom, what's wrong? This time, Emily didn't put the call on speaker, but her mother's yelling was loud and clear. Don't call me Mom. Do you know how much your father and I make? You've ruined us. The sudden scolding left Emily stunned. She quickly said, Mom, what did I do? Emily walked to the corner of the dormitory with her phone as she talked. She suddenly burst into tears. Eva hurriedly,